YouTubers, we just did a video and these were the Dollar Tree glitter notebooks that you can sublimate on. It's really cool, great project, a little limiting, so I have another project for you. So these guys can be hard to find and you're kind of stuck with them being in colors. So you can make your own. Check that out. So what you do instead is you can find it's glitter paper and we can cut it down and use it for notebook covers instead. So you can make exactly what you want. Now, totally freely admit that this is kind of tedious and kind of a pain, but when you want to make what you want to make, sometimes it's worth it. So let me go show you what you need. Alright, so this is the paper that makes this work. It is another shed-free glitter paper. It's inkjet printable glitter paper in white. But yeah, it's another shed-free, and my guess is that whatever they put in it to make it shed-free is what makes this work. It's kind of a guess though, working theory maybe, because you can't use just any paper. This paper works. I tried some cardstock from Hobby Lobby and it turned into a giant gross mess. So I don't know what makes certain papers work and what makes certain papers not work, but this is the one that makes this work. So this is available at Walmart. I don't know if it's anywhere else. This is a Walmart brand. So this glitter paper, I actually found this in my store. It was like $4 for the 10 sheets. So you will need this. And then this is one of the just standard notebooks, wired notebooks. And it was like 35 cents at good old Walmart because I was there. You will need some pliers. We're going to take these guys apart. So you'll need some pliers and some patience. I am not going to use a template to get my holes. So a lot of people, they've been using the cutting machines and a template. The reason I don't want to do that is because then you're kind of stuck trying to hunt down whatever notebook your template goes to. So what I did is I've just been using a hole punch to make it, and I've been using the template of my notebook as a guide basically. So you will need so these guys are 1/8 inch hole punch, and then these guys are a 5/16. Now what I had in my craft stock is these crazy looking, they're We Are Memory Keepers hole punches. You don't need anything this industrial. I had them already. So this one is actually for like, it's called the Crop-A-Dile, but it's for these like little tabs you can put in paper. But one side of this is 1/8. So this is 3/16. So this side is 1/8. So that's a 1/8 inch hole. And then I have this one for the 5/16. Now, the reason I don't like this one is because the paper, the holes end up coming up to the top, so it's hard to see a bunch of them. You could use this one too for the 1/8. But you could totally find little individual hole punches that are nowhere near as ridiculous as these guys are and make this project work. A little tedious, but really not that bad. And then you'll need a printed transfer. I have a Sawgrass SG400 that I use for my printed transfers. You could also use the good old Cricut infusible inks if you wanted to. You would need to cut this with a cutting machine and then follow the regular steps that we're going to do here and use this as your, essentially in place of your printed transfer. If you want to, you could also use markers and draw on paper and then transfer it over if you wanted to. You can also buy pre-printed transfers if you don't have a printer. Etsy will sell them to you. Different shops on Etsy will. My local vinyl shop will too. I use them if I need a really big transfer because my printer can only print 8.5 by 14. So, alright, a couple other supplies. So you're going to need heat tape. This is the same heat tape I've always been using. Never had a problem with it leaving brown marks on anything. So I will leave a link down to this brand that I bought off of Amazon. So you need heat tape. You will also need butcher paper. You're going to have bleed with this, and you're going to want the paper there to absorb it so it doesn't get on anything. And I'm also using my heat press. You might have luck with one of those easy presses too, but I am going to use my heat press for this. Okay, so we're going to take this apart. I did want to make sure you knew These need to be metal. I don't know if the plastic ones will come apart. And you also need to make sure they're not anything like this that you're not going to be able to take apart. So just make sure it's a spiral that you can actually take apart. The other nice thing about not having a set template is you can use whatever notebooks you want to. So if you want to use a nicer notebook and not the cheap ones, you totally can. All right, so basically, as gracefully as you can, you're going to need to pop these off and then turn it so that it'll feed through. Now the other thing is, so I put the first one, the first cover I put on my other one. I ended up changing my mind. Sorry, y'all. I wanted to do a different one. And so I took it apart again and ended up breaking these little pieces off. So you probably only have one shot at kind of taking them apart before you've just bent the metal a little too much. Get it to roll on out of there. All right, so that is your spring, your notebook. Obviously, keep it all together. And then this is what we're going to use to make a template. All right, so this is our paper. And what I like to do is flip it onto the back and then line this all up. And you can see my tape from where I've done this already. All right, so I just tape it, and then what I do is then take my hole punch. All right, so then I'm gonna come down this line and make holes. I like to do it this way so the holes fall out of the bottom. The problem with this guy is that it crunches up, so the holes get stuck and you have to like dump them out and you can't see where you're hole punching. So keep that in mind with whatever hole punch you get. But you can see the little, I don't know, hole punchy part comes down. And then just make your holes. They don't have to be absolutely perfect. You obviously don't want one in complete left field, but they don't have to be like ridiculously perfect. So I'm gonna finish the rest of this. And then these holes, so these are the 1/8 inch holes, and then this guy is the 5/16 hole. I use this guy and line it up. And see, there we go. And that's how I get all the holes. Alrighty, so those are all my holes already done. Now the reason I like doing it this way is you don't have to buy a template. I can use whatever brand and size of notebooks that I want to. I could use a planner, I could use a little bitty notebook, I could use a square notebook, whatever notebook, as long as you can get it apart, you can do this method with. And that's why I really like it versus having to go hunt down a template and getting it to cut on your machine. So now what I do is I take the handy dandy quilting ruler. Maybe one day it'll actually get used for quilting, but not today. So quilting ruler, and I line it up, and the rotary blade, and I watch my fingers very closely, and I just cut off the extra. And we have a template. Alright, so this is our design we are going to print. I've been doing these, I've been on a graffiti kick of recent, so these are all designs that are available on my webpage if you two are feeling the need for some graffiti. Now our template is technically 8 by 10.5, but I've made it 8.1 by 10.6 just to give us a little room to line this up. Also, when you're making your design, remember that you have holes, all the little holes right here, and then you have some big holes here too, in case you don't want to put a hole in the middle of somebody's face. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your design. I have a Sawgrass SG400, so I print through the print manager to ensure my colors. So there's our design. I technically have it set to Caesar white glitter. Honestly, don't know if it matters. I call it the T-Rex paper. I'll put the name down below. I never remember its name. But we are going to mirror it because we are flipping it. So I'm going to print this and turn on my heat press. Our heat press will be set to 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Alright, I did want to say one quick thing about this because we're doing this on glitter. Glitter is not going to be the best for fine details. So this is one of my little play ones, and technically this orange is like brick. You kind of see it there. But it's a really faint detail, and on the glitter it's just not going to show up. So, and like these pearls have like lighter periods inside. You're just not going to get all that detail on the glitter. So keep that in mind. The glitter paper can also act as a really good tester for sublimating on glitter. So you can sublimate on glitter HTV and then put that HTV on like a cotton t-shirt. So this can act as a really good tester to see what the design is going to look like on your glitter and if it's something that you're going to want to do. So just remember that bold details do better and really light subtle details are not going to do as good with this. Alright, so this is our transfer. Keep in mind that your transfer is going to look really light and weird. So don't panic if you're new to sublimation. So we're going to line this up. And then we're going to use our handy dandy heat tape. I've normally just been doing one at the top and one at the bottom. And then we're going to go take it over to the heat press. Alrighty, we are over at the very warm heat press. Heat pressing in the summer is such a joy. Alright, so this is our template and this was our transfer. So you're going to put it to the template side up. And this is why you need the butcher paper, because we have that edge around. That part of the design is going to transfer to this paper, and you want it to, and not onto your heat press. And then we'll put paper over it. We will close 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Alrighty. And you're going to want to be able to see your transfer, like the design come through the paper. So... a sublimation reveal never gets old, does it? So that's our design. And then you can see where the extra transferred onto the butcher paper. This piece of butcher paper is now done. You can't use it for anything else. Alrighty, so that is our finished transfer. And these actually don't seem to curl too badly. The Dollar Tree ones, if you remember, curled pretty bad. And I'll totally admit, we got one of the little holes cut off, but it should work. So now what we're going to do is we're going to line this all back up and get the spiral back through it. Alright, so line everything up and then you're going to take your spiral and normally once it kind of gets going, it's not so bad. Alright, so we have our spiral all the way back on and now you're going to want to close these guys back up again. And basically, you're just going to try to loop it back around like it was before. That's probably a little easier than I'm making it look on TV on video right now. Anyway, you just want to close them back up so that they don't come undone. So do both ends again. Alrighty, so I got that all done. It is easier than I'm making it look on video, so don't panic about that. I will freely admit it is tedious to do. I wouldn't want to do 100 of them by any means, but it's really nice to be able to make what you want if you want to make it, to have the option to do this. So we have this one, so this is our science, and then this is the music one I did, which were the whole covers, and then this is our Dollar Tree one over here. So lots of options to personalize if you want them. So you can make whatever it is you want to do with the time you got. So, and I love this paper. I highly recommend just buying this paper to play with. I'm hoping maybe we can do some more projects with it in the future, but it's just a great paper to have to see what things look like, to play with. So, but if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be back with another video soon. Thank you so much for watching.